Good morning. This is the time and place for the Planning Hearing Officer for November 30th, 2022. My name is Dennis Joe, and I will be conducting the hearing as hearing officer. The Planning Hearing Officer's meeting is being broadcast live on GTV, Glendale TV, viewable on Spectrum Cable, Channel 6, and AT&T Uverse, Channel 99. Meetings are also streamed live in high definition on the city's webpage, glendaleca.gov/live, on youtube.com/myglendale, and on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire devices using a free app called ScreenWeave and choosing Glendale TV from the menu. Meetings are also archived on the city's website for viewing anytime at glendaleca.gov/agendas. For public comments and questions during the meeting, please call 818-937-8100. City staff will be submitting questions and comments in real time to the appropriate person. We have one case involving discretionary permit applications this morning. The hearing will proceed as follows. I will read the description of the applicant's request. I will read the reports received from other city departments and other letters or communications from interested parties. The case planner will make a brief overview of the case, give an analysis, and make a recommendation. The applicant will then be connected by telephone, both stating name and address, and they'll be asked to present a case within 15-minute time limit. Others in support of or in opposition of the application and interested parties will be connected by telephone to give comments, again, clearly stating both name and address within a 3-minute time limit. Lastly, the applicant will be given the opportunity to make closing comments, if desired, in response to testimonies given preceding speakers within a 5-minute time limit. The hearing will then be closed and taken under submission. Findings. If the evidence presented in the application and at the hearing meet the required findings set forth in the municipal code, then the project can either be approved or approved with conditions. If the findings of fact are not evident, then the request will be denied. Decision. After the hearing, the decision will be prepared in writing and will be in the form of a letter sent to the applicant and to all persons who responded to the public notice, either by speaking at this hearing or submitting written responses and having provided their name and mailing address. The date of the decision will be the date of appearing on the letter. Record of decisions for all projects will be posted online on the Planning Division's website. Appeals. Under the appeal provisions of Title 30, Chapter 30.62 of the Glendale Municipal Code, the decision will be appealed to the Planning Commission within 15 days of the date of the decision. Anyone wishing to appeal must contact the case planner to obtain forms or information regarding the appeal process and submittal. Public notice. Notification of this hearing was accomplished by the use of public notices which were mailed to property owners, occupants located within 500 feet of the subject property, physically posted on site in question, and placed in the local newspaper. Speaker card. If you wish to speak, please write your name and address on one of the speaker forms which have been provided by the front door and submitted to one of our planning staff. I would like to inform everyone that this official proceedings of the Planning Hearing Officer hearing are being televised live and may be viewed online on the city's website. Okay, on to the actual hearing. As mentioned before, we have one application which consists of 3 discretionary applications, which is PAUP 2210622, PCUP 2210620, and PCUP 2210621. The applicant is Rodney Kahn, care of Kahn Consulting. The subject location is located at 417 North Brand Boulevard. The project is an application for a conditional use permit to allow the continued operation of an existing nightclub, an application of conditional use permit to allow for continued operation of an existing banquet hall, and an application of an administrative use permit to allow service and sale of alcoholic beverages at the location. Next, I will review the comments that were received from other departments. I see that Police Department had comment on the AUP and the subject matter of this application. Nothing of major concerns have been addressed in regards to the concentration rate of the ABC licenses. They suggested some standard conditions, which I will ask the applicant if they've reviewed these, that have been incorporated with the draft findings and conditions of approval. And last, I have something from GWP. These are just standard plan check comments. And next, I'm going to turn this over to our case planner to give a brief overview of a presentation of the application's request and analysis. On to you, Ms. Loriella.
Thank you, Planning and Hearing Officer Joe. As you mentioned, my name is Nikki Loriola. I am a case planner here at the City of Glendale. And today we'll be hearing two conditional use permits and administrative use permit application at 417 North Brand. I'm just pretty much going to read this slide. The applicant, again, as you mentioned, requests approval of application for conditional use permit to allow for the continued operation of an existing nightclub, continued operation of an existing banquet hall, and for the service, sale, and consumption of alcoholic beverages at 417 North Brand, which is currently operating as Stars on Brand. All of this was previously approved by two conditional use permits and administrative use permit that were heard in 2016. A little bit about the property. As you can see, it is delineated by the red star in the map to the right. That's in the Gateway District of the Downtown Specific Plan. In addition, it's very close to the Mid-Orange and Alex Theater districts, all of which are locations where we encourage nightlife and entertainment uses in a 24-hour downtown, as you can see in the table that's provided, and also in Chapter 3.3 of the Downtown Specific Plan. Both nightclubs and banquet halls are conditionally permitted uses in the Gateway District, and the on-site sales service and consumption of alcoholic beverages is administratively permitted across the Downtown Specific Plan. A little bit about Stars on Brand. This has been operating as a banquet hall and nightclub since 2016, which is when the banquet hall use was first approved. The on-site sale, service, and consumption of alcohol was first approved in 2010, and the use of this location as a nightclub was first permitted in 2001. Just for a little background, the building was originally a moving picture theater in 1936. And at the bottom are some pictures from the Stars on Brand website showing what its current operation looks like. Some applicable codes and policies for this project, the Downtown Specific Plan that we've discussed, as well as the findings of fact sections of both Glendale Municipal Code chapters 30.42 and 30.49 in regard to conditional use and administrative use permits. In addition, staff has determined that this project would be categorically exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act, or CEQA, under Section 15301 for existing facilities, as the facilities in question, as well as the uses, are all existing, and there is no change being proposed to the building, the site, or the operation, which is something that I'll probably be repeating a lot as we go through the findings. On the screen now are the findings for conditional use permits in regard to banquet halls and nightclubs. Analysis of compliance with all necessary findings begins on page 5 of the staff report, which can be found on the Glendale City website, as you mentioned. Again, all of the facilities and the uses are existing and no changes proposed, so we would expect that this continues to be consistent with all applicable plans. We don't expect that this will become detrimental to general welfare or otherwise create any adverse effects to the surrounding area. The public and private facilities have been adequate as they exist on site now, without any notable incident, and this includes the efforts to reduce noise impacts and comply with the Clean Air Ordinance, which are two findings specific to conditional use permits for nightclubs. As far as the on-site sales service and consumption of alcoholic beverages, the findings of fact that are necessary are on the screen for before you now, and these are also analyzed in the staff report. This would represent the 17th on-site license for the census tract that this property belongs in, which is a concentration that is expected in the downtown area. And as mentioned, all of the uses have been in operation in conjunction with each other without any incident for some time now, and we don't expect there to be any adverse impacts in the future. The public and private facilities provided have been adequate to this point, and as no changes are proposed to the building, the site, or the operation, no additional facilities or improvements will be required as part of the staff recommendation. There were no additional conditions recommended by the Neighborhood Services Division, no active violations there. And the comments, as you mentioned, from the police department are attached to the staff report and fairly standard in nature. As such, staff does recommend approval of both the conditional use permits and the administrative use permit with the conditions that are attached to the staff report. There's a link at the bottom of the screen here where the public can access the staff report and the attached exhibits. The applicant is also here to answer questions, and as of now, there have not been any public comments received in regard to this application.
Thank you, Ms. Lauriola. I'm going to call on to any requested speakers. I see there is one card received from the applicant, Rodney Kahn. Please come and speak about the application.
I certainly will. Good morning, Mr. Joe, Ms. Lauriola. My name is Rodney Kahn. My offices are located here in the city of Glendale. And as was pointed out, our project is to renew the Stars on Brand entitlement applications that were previously approved. And these approvals actually expired during the COVID-19 pandemic. In fact, these types of businesses, where it was banquet facilities or nightclubs, were hit pretty hard during this pandemic by LA County requirements, and you're starting to see these types of businesses just starting to come back. So it's very timely that we are here in front of you to be able to renew these entitlements. Also pointed out is we are not adding any square footage to the building. We're not changing any land uses. The hours of operation, the days of the week, all are remaining the same. As pointed out as well, is our site is actually on North Brand. It's between Lexington and Milford on the west side of Brand Boulevard, and it's right in the heart of the downtown area. And as pointed out, the downtown specific plan actually encourages nighttime entertainment. Here in Glendale, we don't have a lot of nighttime entertainment, and this is one of those facilities that offers that and has been for many, many years. The Stars on Brand, as been pointed out, operates itself in a very professional manner. There's not been any concerns, issues, or police problems, if you will. The other city departments that have commented, as you pointed out, Mr. Joe, are very standard comments and conditions. So that reflects in the professionalism that the business has operated itself in. The surrounding land uses we have to the north of us is a restaurant and office buildings. To the south of us is also office buildings. And to the west is a mixed-use project that's under construction right now. So in terms of the use, the location, our use fits in very well with the surrounding land uses. Also important to note is that the building is an older building. It was built in the 30s, as was pointed out, and it was a moving picture theater. Many of the other buildings that are surrounding us have been demolished and rebuilt over the years. This is one of the last remaining older buildings that we are maintaining. And it was built from property line to property line in terms of the site and how it contains it. So it fully encompasses the entire lot. The findings of fact, I think, were illustrated and talked about and could be further illustrated if you'd like me to, but it's very similar to what was previously approved. All the findings of fact could be made for each of the conditional use permits, there's 2, and the administrative use permit. In terms of the conditions themselves, Mr. Joe, you had mentioned that I had an opportunity to review them, specifically as it relates to the police department The answer is yes, and any of the other conditions that were listed as part of each conditional use permit, and the answer is yes, I have reviewed them. For 2 of them, I would have a minor modification to it, and it's mainly probably just a typo. It's not probably, it is. For the CUP for the banquet hall, it's correct. But for the CUP for the nightclub, if you look at condition number 20, it states that the authorization granted herein shall be valid for a period of 10 years until November 30th, 2022. That would be today. So I'm thinking that should be 2032. And that's also true for the administrative use permit. And that is condition number 23 on that application. And it's the same typo. It just reads as granted until 2022 when it should read 2032. Other than that, I thought staff did an excellent presentation, and I'll conclude my remarks and be happy to answer any questions you may have.
I too do agree that the analysis was well thought out, and I don't have much comments, and thank you for addressing my question I mentioned earlier about reviewing of the conditions of approval. I have nothing at this time. I'd just like to ask Ms. Luriola, do we have any callers who would like to comment on this case?
We have not received any calls.
Okay. Seeing there's no need for rebuttal, I'll still kick it back to you to see if there's anything you'd like to close with, and it's totally fine to say there's nothing else, because as I stated before, I think it's pretty clear cut with the analysis, and any questions I have asked, it's been answered, so.
Mr. Joe, I really don't have anything else to add. I know that the owners would love to receive the approvals as soon as possible, so I would ask the city and city staff if this could be approved as soon as possible. We would greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. I will be taking this case under submission, and this will officially close the hearing. And thank you for everyone's cooperation. Right now, it's as dated, November 30th at 9:55 a.m.